Well, joining us now in the studio to discuss the latest efforts made by the World Food Programme to distribute food aid to Libya and Sudan is Rene McGuffin, the Senior Public Information Officer for the WFP here in Washington. Mr. McGuffin, thank you so much for coming to be with us today.
Thanks for having me.
I want to just kind of continue from the package we just ran about the challenges of just providing health care. Of course, doubled with that, food shortages. Tell us what you are faced with.
Absolutely. You know, right now is a peak hunger season in Sudan when normally people are struggling to meet their daily needs. So on top of that, of course, you now have the conflict that's escalating. And we're greatly concerned because we simply don't have the access. Normally, for example, in South Kordofan, we would be reaching, 400,000 people during this period who need food assistance in order to really make it through the next few months. And we're only able to reach so far 27,000 who have been affected by the conflict. We just simply cannot access them because a lot of the roads are closed. But with the roads being closed, you also, of course, means that their normal food supplies aren't moving. Fuel isn't moving. So you have, spikes in food prices. You also would have, fuel shortages, which makes it really difficult for movement and whatnot. So the situation both in South Kordofan and in and around Abyei is really concerning for us. In Abyei, we've been able to reach about 100,000 people with food support, as well as really focus on children who need nutritional support, extra nutritional support from families who had to flee Abyei and move over into Warab State.
I know it's a difficult challenge. Now, at least Sudan, you've been operating in there for a while because obviously there's been a lot of transition leading up to what is going to be expected to be the new day next month. But now Libya, where you're also operating, is a bit of a different situation because you had never been in Libya before until this conflict started just a few months ago. So now what are the challenges of now being in Libya, trying to provide aid to a lot of people who are now displaced because of the conflict?
Sure. Well, in Libya, we used to actually use it as part of our logistics supply route to reach another country. We were only in there to actually go through the country on their roads. And now we're having to try and reach out to, hundreds of thousands of people who are in need because of the conflict. So what we've been having to do and struggle with is opening up supply routes. We've been able to feed about 500,000 people in Libya. We've had 4 shipments that have gone into the port of Misrata in eastern Libya. And we just finally actually just had a shipment go into a port in western Libya by the name of Al Khoms, which will be the first humanitarian shipment there, which is very close to Tripoli. And so we're reaching the government-controlled areas now as well. But with the fighting, again, the roads are closed. It's a very similar situation. You have high food prices, lack of food, high fuel prices. It's a real challenge and a lot of need, a growing need.
So accessibility is the major challenge. What about funding? I understand that the WFP at least has extended its operations in North Africa in general until August. You're talking about $100 million worth of aid that is going to be given. Is there enough funding to sustain this?
Well, we just, obviously with a situation like this, we don't know how long it's going to go on. And as you said, we've just extended. Donors had been really generous early on, and we hope that they will continue to be during this protracted emergency. We basically are in need of about $37 million for our current operation that goes until August. And we are hopeful donors will step forward. But we also have other operations. We're running a special operation that will provide logistics support, telecommunications, air support, and shipping support to all NGOs and other humanitarian actors going into Libya as part of our role within the UN cluster. So it's critical that we get this funding, and we get it soon so that we can respond to the growing needs.
Well, wish you all the best.
Thank you so much.
Hope you do get that funding.
Thanks.
Rene McGuffin, WFP Senior Public Information Officer, joining us on In Focus today.